Hi everyone, welcome to episode 55 of the RetroBreak Podcast. I know technically it's episode 56, but last time I made a podcast episode, I wasn't really that happy with it. I recorded it in a hotel room on my crappy phone microphone and it sounded awful, and I didn't have my notebook with my proper layout for the episode, so technically I'm going to just call that one a bonus episode. I also never uploaded it to YouTube, so if you're listening on YouTube, this won't make any sense to you, but if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, then this is the real episode 55, and I'm going to go back and rename the other one. So with that said, episode 54 was called Everything's Going Wrong. Well, the next episode, is called Everything's Going Right. That's right, I managed to solve all the problems that I was complaining about so much in the last one of these episodes. Let's go over a few of them. So I was getting frustrated with lack of storage space and the video editor being a little bit slow, so I decided to kind of splash out entirely, and I bought myself a brand new M4 Max MacBook Pro with the top of the line specs and 8 terabytes of storage space, and I literally think this computer, this laptop, could easily last me a decade if I wasn't so inclined to just upgrade all the time. But it's solved every issue that I had with editing, and the render times in particular are insane. It used to take me about 2 hours maybe to finish rendering a video after I'd finished editing everything to get it ready to upload to YouTube. So some nights I would be there at 11 o'clock, half 11 at night, just wrapping up editing the video, and then I would start exporting, and then I would have to stay up until about 2 o'clock in the morning to get ready to actually put that on YouTube and to put it on Patreon and get everything set up ready to go live the next day. Well, it's just insane. I've made 2 videos so far, 2 videos that have been about half an hour long each, and the export times for those half an hour videos, bear in mind I'm doing more than I used to do as well in terms of effects, in terms of using AI enhancements to slow the footage down and make it really, really nice and smooth rather than having the interframe blending, which I used to do. This new machine learning optical frame insertion is just insane, and you'll see that as of recording this podcast in a few hours time when my new shop tour video comes out. But anyway, I've been putting all of these crazy effects on my Game Boy Color top 20 video that I did using this computer as well. I put a load of new effects on there and new templates and properly edited all of the clips, which I wasn't able to do before. And anyway, my point being that these half an hour plus videos take about 10 minutes to export, and I just literally could not believe my eyes when I was sat there and I could actually see the percentage of the export just moving in real time. Usually I would leave it, I would go and do something else completely, I would play a game, I would, get ready for bed or something and sit in bed for a while and then come back in here and see that it's on 20%. But now I can press render, go into the other room, grab a drink, come back, and it will already be on 20%. It's just insane, and it's saved me already about 4 hours worth of just waiting around, which is just incredible. And I've had no issues whatsoever with the editing. Everything's super smooth. I don't need to make proxy files anymore. The other improvement is the fact that I've changed how I record the gameplay, not using them weird AVI files anymore now. I am doing what some people suggested, which is capturing it through OBS and using that to transcode it instead, rather than trying to do it through the emulator itself. And also, for some games as well, I've been going back to using the capture card because I updated the firmware on the Analog Pocket dock, and that seems to have fixed some of the controller issues with the controller disconnecting. So there's a bunch of things that I was getting really frustrated about back in October, which in November now seem to have almost been completely eliminated, and I could not be happier. And as well as solving all of my technical woes, I've actually been thinking about how much happier I am with my actual content on the channel as well. And having this new computer has been able to open my opportunities up to make some bigger videos in the future. Now I've got so much more storage space, and basically the ability to try out any combination of transitions and effects and download plugins and things that would have used to slow the computer down, and now I can try them all no problem. So I'm going to attempt to make another big video in December. I'm going to do another one of my documentary style history videos, and hopefully this time I won't run into any issues whatsoever. Well, I think the main issues with those documentary style videos are actually writing the script, which no amount of technology will help with that. It's just a matter of time and research and getting everything in the right place and getting it all laid out in my head so I know what year things happened and get it all planned out. But I enjoy doing that. It's just struggling to find the time to do it is the issue, especially with work being so insane at the minute, and that's something I haven't managed to sort out just yet. But I am working on it in the background, but let's leave that at that for now, and let's move on to some other really cool and exciting things for the podcast here. So something else really fun that I've been doing recently is really enjoying my time on a new social media platform called Blue Sky. And basically I've completely left Twitter at this point, and I'm doing that exclusively over on Blue Sky as my only social media platform outside of posting thumbnails every Friday on Instagram. Anyway, I've decided, because I'm starting up this new social media and I want it to be something for people to actually enjoy rather than just me talking about everything I'm doing, I've started up a new series over there called RetroBreak's EXP Boost, or RetroBreak's Experience Boost. And basically what it is daily retro gaming facts and a photo of the game from my collection, along with some screenshots and a fun fact. And I've done it for about 2 weeks now, I think, and I've been really enjoying my time doing that. And I also thought how this might be able to tie back in with the channel as well. So next year, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on doing these daily experience boost posts over on Blue Sky. And when I've built up enough games, maybe once a month, I will then turn that into a video for YouTube and call it Experience Boost. And I really do think that is going to be something very fun that's not your typical top games list. It's going to be interesting collectibles and pieces of gaming history and trivia, and wrapping all that up so it's going to be like a month's worth of gaming facts in one video. And I've been really enjoying picking things out from the shelves and coming up with some interesting things to talk about. So hopefully that's a new cool video plan that I've got for next year, and hopefully I'll be able to keep that up throughout the rest of the year, and I've still got enough interesting games to talk about by the end of that. But yeah, really enjoying doing that, and I've got a bunch of other plans for 2025 as well, which of course I will share here on the podcast in a future episode. Especially one of the things I want to focus on is just improving my production values, which of course I've already been trying to do this year, but there's so much more that I think I could do, but I'll save that until that video and podcast episode. And of course I'll do my end of year wrap up as well, where I take a look at the stats for the year and talk about what went right and what went wrong and what I think I can do differently next time. And yeah, it's just a really exciting time for me now, and there's no excuses anymore. Now I've got all this new technology, and I've finally got the perfect camera setup. I've got the perfect microphone. I've got the perfect computer. There's very little now getting in the way of what I actually want to do. So now it's just a case of my own motivation and trying to get these videos out on time as well. But I seem to be doing okay so far, so let's hope it stays that way. And now for part 2 of the podcast, where I talk about some of the games that I've been playing recently. And I've been very busy, as I said in the last episode, which if you're listening on YouTube, you will have never heard. But in the episode before that, I was talking about how every weekend basically feels like I've been spending it in hotel rooms. And that is still the case. So last weekend, I was in another hotel up in Liverpool for work, and we had a great weekend. Actually, I was kind of reluctant about going, but I'm really glad I did in the end. And I went to a really cool arcade / club place called Playbox, which was great, and we had a Mario Kart tournament there, and I got to play a bunch of arcade machines. And if you want to see what that place was like, check out my pickups / shop tour video that I'll be uploading today as of recording this in about 2 hours time. But for you guys, it will have been uploaded a few days ago if I get this up on time. And in terms of the shop tour as well, the day after, I was a little bit hungover for one thing, because we did go out drinking until quite late, and I had one of those 2 a.m. burgers that I regretted massively. Anyway, the next day I was in Liverpool, went for breakfast and had a look at what retro game shops were around, and just on the other side of the river, there was a really cool game shop called Trade and Play. So I finished off my breakfast and I slowly stumbled along the streets down into the metro, went under the river there and came out on the other side and walked over to a shopping centre. And when I got there, the shop was way better than it looked in the photos. And I got in there and I started recording a little bit and having a look around. And I asked the guys if it was okay for me to film, obviously, and they said they love people coming in to film, but they're always really worried because they're going to get some mean comments. And as I was looking around the shop, I was just thinking, like, there's no way anyone could say a bad thing about this shop. It was amazing. And I actually picked up a bunch of really cool games as well. I've been enjoying playing Super Puzzle Fighter for the Game Boy Advance. There was one that I picked up there as well. And a game that I'd never heard of before as well, called Super Bubble Pop, which is another puzzle game, although nowhere near as good. Although it is kind of interesting, and have a look in the video because there was something really weird about that game that I'd never really thought about. So let me know what you think of that if you watch the video. So that was what I got up to in Liverpool. Also, some games that I've been playing back at home whenever I've been at home, which isn't very often. I've been really enjoying Tetris Forever, which is a sort of documentary style release for the Switch and other consoles and PC as well, where it basically goes through the history of the development of Tetris and all the future games that came after it. And there's a load of like pre-recorded interview clips with Alexei Pajitnov and everyone else involved with Tetris, and you go across this timeline and it's so well produced. And I honestly think that if I was to make a game with a company, that is exactly the kind of game that I would love to make, something that really dives into the history of the series. Yeah, I just think it's absolutely amazing. I haven't played it as much as I would have liked, and I definitely want to play more of it in the future. And the only other game that I've been playing, well, kind of technically two, but the only game that I've been playing for myself, and I brought this up in the last episode that you won't have heard on YouTube, and that is a game called Project Sekai, or its official English title is Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage, but I go by the Japanese name because it's just cooler. And that is a music rhythm game with a lot of Vocaloid songs and a bunch of songs from some sort of, like, how do you put this? Like fantasy idol groups, I guess. And the story in the game follows their journey into becoming idols, and you can go and play all their music, and you can attend like virtual concerts and things, and you can see other people watching them at the same time. It's really fun. It's a really cozy style of game, and I just really, really enjoy it. And I love going on there to get my daily gem bonuses so that I can do the gacha things as well. And I never thought I would fall for a gacha game, but this one seems to have got its hooks in me. And in terms of multiplayer games I've been playing a few games with Sarah and her friends. So we've been playing Outlast Trials again, which is always fun. I'm nowhere near as good as the other people that I play with. They're like rank 70 at this point, which is like the highest you can get, and I'm like rank 30 something. But finally I'm understanding what to do, and I'm enjoying my time with it. And the other game we've been playing, me and Sarah mostly just on our own, is a game called Web Fishing. And we did play one day with Chaz as well, who's Blueberry Moon online, if you want to go and check out some of her stuff. That's a really cozy game. It's kind of like Animal Crossing. You just go around fishing and you've got different objectives to complete, and there's sort of all these weird things going on in the world as well for you to try and find. Like there's UFO crash landed pieces that you can pick up. There was ghosts to find. There's a bunch of other random things. It's just really cool. I love the atmosphere of it, and as a game developer, or as a wannabe game developer, I guess, I love the fact that it's all made in Godot as well. So as I was playing, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, how did they do that? How did they do that? And getting kind of annoyed that it's such a simple idea and it's done so well for the developer as well. So congratulations to him. It's an amazing game. And in terms of projects that I've been working on, I am still very much in the midst of trying to write my Game Boy history video. I did a little bit more on that last night. I had a few books out. I had a mind map open, trying to get all the dates and the timelines in place, and finding out all the names of the people who were involved in that process. So that is a big ongoing project. Hopefully it'll be out in December, fingers crossed. And I've kind of been a bit quiet on the Super Donuts front, trying to bring my game back. I haven't done as much on that as I would have liked, mostly thanks to changing computers. There's been a few issues in getting Stencil up and running on this new one, but it's nearly there. I just need to get all the game project files back over, and then hopefully I can get back into that. And at some point next year, Super Donuts will be back out to play on PC, so potentially that will be happening. And also, streaming's been on hold for a while as well. Maybe in the new year I'll get back on that, but it's not really a priority. Anyway, I think that's about it for this video. I've only got a few hours before I have to go away again for another weekend away in a hotel, this time in Birmingham for MCM Comic Con. I feel kind of bad for not being there today, but I couldn't get the time off work, and I'm actually recording this podcast episode during lunchtime, so I need to get back to work in a bit as well. So I will wrap it up here Thank you so much for everyone who listens to the podcast. I really do appreciate it. And I'll be back hopefully in 2 weeks' time to do it all over again. Thank you so much for listening. See you all again soon. Goodbye.